Siobhan or Donoghue from the Community Workers Cooperative.
Did you know that last year half the people who were sent to prison were sent there for the non-payment of fines? How many bankers and traders do you think were sent to prison last year? None! And does this not tell us something about the balance of power in our society? The people who bankrupted our economy, who bankrupted our financial system, who bankrupted our politics are getting away scot-free, and the people who are the most vulnerable are being demonised and criminalised. The powers that be would have us believe that there is no other strategy, that there are no choices. They say that they are acting in the national interest. Well, Mr. Cowan and Mr. Lenihan, I say to you that it is in the national interest to protect the livelihoods of ordinary people, ordinary families and small businesses in this country, and not to bail out the bankers and traders who got into this mess in the first place. It's in the national interest to reverse inequality, not to deepen it. It's in the national interest to protect our communities and to stop the cuts to the community sector. After all, it's the community sector that provides the glue and the fabric that holds struggling communities together. And it's in the national interest to protect our public services and the people who work in them, not to break their backs. Like you, I am sick of being told that I got into this mess myself, that I was living beyond my means, that we got into this debt because we lived extravagant lifestyles. Most people I know just wanted to live a decent, ordinary life, to have enough. Most of us achieved that. Most of us did have enough. But many, many, many did not even have enough to live a life with a basic dignity. And listen carefully to what our political and our financial leaders are telling us about the mess that they got us into. They tell us that it was unforeseeable. They tell us that it happened to them. And they tell us that it was out of their control. We know that this is not true. It's clear the destruction was caused by an unbridled desire to get ahead at any cost, by reckless competitiveness, and by complete lack of accountability. And it's also clear that that culture still remains and hasn't gone away. Tonight, the vultures are hanging over the bones of the Greek economy, trying to make a quick buck. Tonight, as we stand here, those same vultures are going to be hanging over this country as well. And our political leaders have neither the will nor the fortitude to clip their wings. After all, birds of a feather flock together. What we need now is leadership, and it is up to us to face this challenge. Our greatest challenge, actually, is to believe in the possibility of change. Now more than ever, we cannot, must not stand aside. We can't afford to stand in the ditch waving our hurleys, shouting each other down. We have a collective interest and a responsibility to do the right thing, to make a better society. For that couple living in Mullingar who are living in an incomplete housing estate. For the Traveller family living on the side of a road down in Cork trying to survive. For the lone parent in Limerick who's trying to raise her children with a bit of dignity. For the migrant family in Blanchardstown who are really worried about their future. And for that young man in Galway who's leaving school next June without ever the possibility of a decent living wage. And we can start this by demanding a just tax system. A tax system that is based on the idea that everybody can contribute based on their need. My notes are collapsing. We need a new tax rate for anybody earning over €100,000. We need to abolish the obscene tax shelters which only serve to line the pockets of people who already have far too much. We need to take away the pension reliefs that absolutely unfavourably and unfairly favour those who already are very well off. And we need to cap the salaries and the bonuses of the bankers and traders. And after all, it was that short-sighted, reckless trading that helped to get us into this mess in the first place. And I can hear the backlash, not from this crowd, but I can hear the backlash down the road. They say this approach will damage our competitiveness. It will upset the market. It will turn away investors. Well, I have news for them. Guess what? The most competitive economies in Europe have the highest taxation rates and the lowest levels of poverty and inequality.
Yeah.
We have a democratic responsibility to do the right thing. We are not lemmings, mindlessly following our failed political leaders over some cliff edge. We can take a stand and do the right thing. We can take a stand for a society that is based on the values and speaks truth to the values and principles of equality, solidarity and social justice.
Yeah.
But we are at a major crossroads, and if we don't get this right, and if we don't get off our asses, the future of our society is going to be up in the air. We have to take this responsibility. Now is our time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go on.